Hey you guys, so I wanted so badly to be able to do this live. However, due to time constraints and just needing to go ahead and get it done, I am going to have to just do it as a recorded video of sewing on the arms. Like I said, just time is getting away from me, and I don't want to keep putting it off and putting it off. So before we sew on the arms, however, we are going to do some of the other finishing touches on the doll that we talked about. And so I told you guys how we were going to give the illusion like that her pants might be able to come off. So here where you did like back loops only, we're going to do some slip stitches at the top of her pants, at the bottom of each pants leg, and then also around the top here as well, and on the sleeve of the top. So I'm going to start with her bottoms, and so in order to do this, you are going to need to turn the doll upside down. So with your doll design turned upside down, or with the legs facing away from you, doesn't necessarily mean it's upside down, but with the legs facing away from you, I am using a 3.5 millimeter hook, and the yarn that I did for my pants or for my bottoms. And like I said, we are basically just going to slip stitch starting here in that first stitch of the back loop only, and then come all the way back around. And so I am going to join in this yarn right into that first stitch, and like I said, no single crochet or anything like that. We're just gonna slip stitch right into that stitch, and then slip stitch into each stitch around. And so we are just slip stitching right into the back loop only stitches. And like I said, what this will do is it will create the illusion that the pants might be removable, even though they are not. And of course the yarn wants to split on me. I was trying to get a little closer to the camera because I know that this blue is a little dark and it might be hard to see, but like I said, we are just slip stitching in each stitch around. And so just insert your hook, yarn over, pull through the loop on the hook, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. And so again, just going to do that all the way around for her pants top, and then we'll also do it on each, at the bottom of each leg as well. And here, and here. I don't know why the yarn wants to split. Yeah. And then I'm gonna do another one into this first stitch again, just to kind of connect it together. And so there we have it. And so it just creates a nice little edging around the pants. And so once you've done that, you can go ahead and cut off, leave a tail just so you can weave in the ends. That's the only reason I left the tail. So just leave a tail so that I can weave that in. But as you can see, just gives like a nice surface, as if, you know, you might be able to pull the pants off, even though you cannot. And so we're gonna do the same thing. With her pants at the bottom of her pants leg as well. Now here because we switch from the skin tone to the pants leg, we're actually going to be going into the front loop that was left out from the skin tone, because we did back loop only with the pants leg, and so we're going to be going into the front loop only of the skin tone, but we're going to still do it with the we're still doing it with the pants color yarn or bottoms color yarn, but the front loops that we're going into were actually the front loops of the skin tone. And so, but we're doing the same thing, and we're just gonna slip stitch all the way around her pants leg. So she will look like this. And here. Again, we're just yarning over and pulling through that loop. And we do it all the way around, and pray that your yarn doesn't split like mine. But we do it all the way around. And I also go back into that first stitch again, like the stitch where we joined in the yarn. I do another slip stitch into that stitch as well, and then I'll cut off yarn to be able to weave in the ends. But this is what you should have here for her, for the pants leg. So again, it kind of just makes it look like, oh, they might come off when they really don't. And the funny thing is, you won't even see these because of her shoes. You're not gonna see them. But if you have your shoes removable, if her shoe, like if you decide not to secure her shoes to her body, then if you were to take the shoes off, then you of course would be able to see it. But because of the kind of shoes that I'm gonna make for her, you are not going to be able to see that little detail right there. But I still want it. Even though I'm not gonna be able to see it, I do still want the detail. So I'm gonna do it for the other pants leg as well. You said just join in the yarn. Join in the yarn. Slip stitch. And then slip stitch all the way around. And the reason I do this, like before I attach the head and everything like that, as you can see, the doll is kind of moving around a bit. And so if I were to do it like after attaching her head, it'll be in the way, basically. It'd just be too many things in the way. Just easier to do it this way, because it's already not the easiest thing. I mean, it's not hard, but it can be a little like, ugh. So in order for you not to like really hate it, I do recommend that you do it before you attach your doll's head and everything. I mean, and you can do this, like you could have did it like right when you finish the pants or whatever, if you wanted to. I just normally wait just in case I want to make any changes or anything, but it can be done like right when you finish. Like you don't have to wait to this part to do it. And so all the way around again, I went back into that first one again, and so I am going to again just cut enough so that I can weave that in. But now we have two pants leg with the, again, see how it kind of looks like her foot is coming out of the pants leg now. So that's why I did it that way, and then like her top is like tucked into her pants. So we have that, and now I will go around the top of her top. Looking at it, I probably should have did the top like change to the skin tone probably one row down, because her top does look like, I mean, she's wearing like a full shirt, and so I probably should have did it one row down, but it doesn't hurt anything where it's at. It's not bothering anything. But again, same thing. We're just going to use the top color yarn, and I am going to join this in to that first stitch that was left out from where I switched to back loop only, and we're going to slip stitch and then slip stitch all the way around. And like I said, this one is a little harder because the doll definitely wants to kind of move around, like the rest of her body wants to move and things like that. But yeah, just kind of hold her down so that you're able to slip stitch into those stitches. And so again, we're going to insert eye hook and then turn it, and then insert, pull through, insert, pull through, insert. So for this design, it's almost going to look like she has on a turtleneck almost, because like I said, I probably could have switched to her skin tone probably one row down, just so more of her skin would have been out. But this baby is fully covered. She's not out here showing nothing. No skin for the people. She is fully covered, but she's gonna be cute. And let's see, just a few more. So pull through, and then again I'll do one into that last one, or into the first one again where we originally joined the yarn, and then I can cut that. And so now this is what we have, and so now this is what we have for her top and for her bottom. And now I can take my yarn needle and weave these ends in so that we can do her arms. And before we do her arms, I am also going to do her sleeve for her. So we're going to do the same thing on her arm sleeve as well. And again, we'll be going into the front loops of the skin tone that was left out. So not the not into the top color, but the front loops of the skin tone that were left out. So let me join in join in the yarn, top color yarn. And again, just want to go to that first stitch of the front loop only. Why just don't want me to be great? Really? Yeah, don't want me to be great. This little arm. Don't want me to be great. Why does this keep turning? Can you stay that way so that I can pull up a loop? Thank you. All right. There we go. And let's keep going all the way around. And for some reason, I only have one arm. I don't know if I didn't ever make the other one or if I lost the other one. I have no idea. And I keep saying, Yolanda, just make another arm because you need 2 arms. Well, for this design, I need 2 arms or want 2 arms. But yeah, I don't know what I did with the other arm. So now that's her second arm. I mean, her first arm, but with the little sleeve detail on it. So you see the sleeve detail? And so now we can get ready to sew this on to the doll's body. So, you have your yarn needle or a darning needle or a, if you have a mattress needle, curved mattress needle, that will work well as well. I do have a curved one. I just don't know where it is at the moment. I don't know where anything is at the moment. So I'm gonna use just my regular needle. And I'm just weaving in the ends. And so I typically just weave my ends right into, like, try not to bust through the stitches. But I just normally just weave them right through whatever it is I'm working on and kind of zigzag it so that, you know, if somebody were to pull it or something, it wouldn't easily come out. Just weave those in. And do the same thing with this one. And then I'm gonna weave in the ends on her top and then we'll sew the arm on. I'm not gonna weave in the legs and stuff. I'm just so you guys can see how to, so the video won't be too long on how to sew on the arms. I'm just gonna come over here. And again, just weaving this through some of the stitches so that it will not be easily pulled out. And once you weave it through a couple of times, that's fine. Or weave it in till you think it's secure, and then you can cut it. And now you get ready to attach it to the doll's body. Now I do this 2 different ways. If you've taken any of Aniqua's courses and you've seen how she weaves her limbs on, you can definitely use her technique. I normally would have left a longer tail than this because I normally use the tail to attach, but because I cut this tail a little short, I'm going to have to cut more green yarn and then do it. But what I do, so I am still going to use this tail because the first thing I do is kind of close this opening on the arm. I do that before I attach. I don't know if you're supposed to do it while you're attaching it. I don't know. But this is the way I do it. I'm not saying my way is the right way or the wrong way. This is the way I do it. Remember that I do not like sewing on limbs at all. This is one of the reasons why I switched my doll style to doing the limbs so that I didn't have to sew them on, because it's just not, it's one of my least favorite things. But like I said, the first thing I'm going to do, and note that I did not stuff this all the way to the top. It's stuffed, but I did kind of leave the top so that I could close it and it's not like fully stuffed there at the top. But then I'm just going to take where I did leave a tail. Like I said, I wish I had left a longer tail, but I did leave a tail, and I'm going to use this tail to close this opening. And so what I basically do is I bring those two together, and then I go into the two back loops. Like, I do not go through all the loops. I'm really just joining this via this row of back loops and this row of back loops. And what I'm going to do is I am going to take the needle, I'm going to go under the first loop, under that first back loop, under the next back loop. See if this focuses. It's gonna focus. You're gonna focus. And then hopefully you guys can see that. And then I just do that all the way across. Again, I'm just going not underneath all the loops, but just the two inside loops to bring that together to close that opening. So just the two inside loops, the two back loops. That's how you do that. And so see how that is now closed. Now normally what I would do, this tail again, like I said, is not long enough, but normally what I would do is then just take this tail and determine where it is that I want it on my doll. Oh, I meant to weave these ends in first. And normally I would use that tail to sew my doll's arms on. Normally, that's what I would do. Normally. But because that tail is not long enough, we're not going to do that. Let me weave these ends in so that I can see her body without those being in the way. And again, same thing, just gonna weave it, or yeah, weave it into her body, because just need the ends to be out the way. Cut it. Let's weave pretty good. And do the same thing with the other side. Or the other strand, loose strand. This and this, and this. So they should be weaved pretty good. off. And the reason I keep moving the stuffing is bothering me a little bit. For some reason. I don't know. Let's see. Probably because I need to stop trying to do it with my fingers and use the little stick here to move the stuffing around. For some reason it was bothering me. Felt a little lumpy bumpy and I didn't like it. So, that better? Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so like I said, determine where you want your arm to be positioned, or where her shoulder is going to be on the doll. So determine that. Clearly this is her neck. Her shoulder is not way up here like at her neck, so we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna bring it down just probably like 1 or 2 rows. This is part of sewing the limbs on that I don't like trying to figure out where they're supposed to go. If you have straight pins, you can definitely pin them in place so that you can see them and see where you like them. If you have straight pins, you can definitely do that. I'm not even, because she's so small, I'm not even gonna really bother with straight pins. But if you feel like you need straight pins to kind of just hold it in place so you can see where that arm is, or if you like the position of it, then definitely get you some straight pins and pin it in place. I am thinking that mine is gonna go, so I'm gonna just come 1 row down. Like there's a row there and then the row here. I feel like mine is gonna come like 1 row down, and we're gonna sew it on right there. Now I am gonna weave this in because like I said, normally this would be long enough that I would be able to use that tail to just go ahead and start sewing it on right from there, just to give you an idea of what I mean. Let's see here. So normally, but I know it's not gonna be enough to get it sewn on securely, which is why I'm gonna have to cut some more yarn or use more of that green yarn. But normally, if this was a longer tail, what I would do is sew. Once I determine where I wanted that arm, I would go ahead and sew it in place using the tail. Like I wouldn't even cut it, and I would just go, and here I am going into the full stitch, not just the back loop only. I am going into the full stitch for this, and so I would normally just go right into it, into the stitch of the body, come up, and then sew it on that way. And then I would just repeat that. Like then I would come down from that stitch in the body and come through both, like come all the way through both stitches of the arm, like that. Like maybe it might be enough. I don't think it's enough, like not for it to be secure, but maybe enough for me to just show you what I mean if you do have a long tail. And so that, I would come back down again through the stitch of the body and come through both stitches and see if it was long enough. I could keep going and I could go back across and make sure that it was sewn on securely. But because it's not, and then that would be my arm. But because it is not, I am going to have to use another piece of yarn to do it. And so I'll show you how I would do it that way as well. So let me just weave in this so that arm doesn't come apart. probably could have did her arm a little longer. Now I'm looking at it. It probably could have been a tad bit longer, maybe. But I don't like super long limbs, like super long arms on my designs. So that may work. But now because I have to sew it on the other way, let me cut a long, so I just cut a long piece of the top color. And just gonna thread that through. Like I said, if you've taken any of My Kind of Things courses, you know she does this slightly different, and you can definitely use her method if you prefer. If you like her method and you want to do that, by all means, you can definitely do that. Again, because I think she does, like, she uses straight pins and pins it down and all of that good jazz. I am not. I am simply finding the place where I want it. I'm taking, so with the top color yarn and the yarn needle, I am going through the body, coming out through the arm. Not gonna pull that all the way through because we'll leave a tail so that I can sew that back on. And then I'm going to go through the arm and come out, I think, if it'll let me do it. See, this is where a curved mattress needle would probably work a little bit better than the straight needle, because you would be able, like, it'd be curved and it would maneuver a little bit better than the straight needle. So if you have a curved needle, that would probably work better than a straight needle, a curved mattress needle. But like I said, I'm gonna make it work. So through the, this time coming back through the body, through the arm, this time going through the arm and coming up through the body, or through the top, if you want to say it. And hold on, because that, so what I don't want to do is come through stitches, and that's what that did. Like, that went through like a thread of the stitch, and I don't want that. So let me rethread this, or rethread this. On. And then, so I am going to come through the body, back through the arm, and now I'm going to come back across, just to kind of make sure that the arm is really as secure as possible to her body. Because what I don't want is, you know, her to be somewhere and her arm just fly off. You know, that would not be cute if she's somewhere and her arm is just flying off. That's not cute. And yeah, I probably should have used the curved needle, because it's just hard to maneuver the straight needle for this, for what you want it to do. Like I said, the curved needle will maneuver a lot better. Here we are, and coming through. And I'm just, now what I'm gonna do, like I've passed through it twice now. So what I'm gonna do now is I then take my needle and I come through and I just kind of do like a up down on the arm, like one more time, just to be sure. Because like I said, that's the last thing you would want, is for your arm to slip off somewhere. I want this to come up right through there. And so that is pretty secure. Like, I don't feel like that's gonna go anywhere. And so I will just weave in these ends, and she has an arm, and then I'll put the second arm on. And that'll be it. I feel like that's a little, do I like the position of this arm? Feels a little to the front a little bit. Trying to see. Oh no, I like it. It's just the way I had it sitting. No, I like that. And so I'll put her other arm on if I find it, or maybe, like I said, I don't know, I may need to make it. I can't remember if I only made one arm or what happened, or if I lost the arm. I think I only made one because I remember taking the picture and I only had one arm. So it may be that I only made one. But if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I am gonna weave these ends in, and so just to make sure, like I just weave them again right through the doll. I don't have like a method to it. I just kind of weave it in till I feel like, okay, it's secure. Yeah, so I'm fine with that. And then just cut it there. It's that one, and then I'll weave in the end on this side, on this end. Again, no method to it. I just try to go a whole bunch of different directions to make sure that it's kind of tucked away in her body. And, oh, I was about to say I lost my scissors, but they right there in front of me. Okay, that's it for now for my one arm baby. We're gonna have to get her another arm, and I'll put that on, put on her other arm, put her head on, and of course I'll show you a video of how to do that. But you'll get her shoes. That's the next part, shoes and hair, how to do the hair. So that's it for now for this mini girl. Again, if you have any questions, let me know.